Hey everybody, welcome back to Trekking It. So I'm starting to boil my maple sap today and I want to show you how it's going, so check this out. I'll start off by showing you this. It's 100 gallons. It's actually meant for collecting rain out of like your gutters, I guess. But I got into a pinch and I needed a bigger collection barrel. So I bought this off the internet. It was like 30-40 bucks. I honestly don't remember. Pretty cheap. Obviously, look at it. But it holds 100 gallons and honestly it did quite well. It's got a little spigot out the bottom of it there. So these two 5-gallon buckets right here are what I collect in out of that 100-gallon barrel. I bring it in here and then I run it through that screen into that 5-gallon bucket, and that screen's just to try and get out any big debris, I don't know, bugs, sticks, leaves, whatever might be in there, just a preliminary screening. And then I ladle it out using this measuring cup right there. I ladle it out into this roasting pan, and it's on 450 degrees. You can kind of see the light there. I just started it, that's why it's not steaming. But this is my warmer. I just let it warm in there. And then I boil in here. I have this hooked to a 100-gallon propane tank and I just started it. That's why it's not really doing much yet. And like I said, I got 100 gallons that I gotta boil down, so I'm gonna see how long this takes. So stay tuned. All right, well, we're getting close to being able to bring our sap in and finish boiling here in the kitchen, so let me show you my setup I got. Check this out. All right, you can see I got the two Dutch ovens there. They're wet just because I rinsed them out just a minute ago, but I'll finish them in the Dutch ovens there, those cast iron pans. I got my thermometer right there, and we're looking for 219 degrees. And then once it hits 219, we're gonna go ahead and ladle some into that test tube right there and measure it with this hydrometer here. And that red line, I believe it's 59 bricks is what we're looking for. And once that happens, we'll take it out of there. We'll run it through our filtering system that we have here and drip it down in. I know this doesn't look that big. It's actually 66 ounces there. So I'll filter it into there, and then from there, I'll pour it into our jars that we want it to be filled in. So that's our setup, and I'm gonna go check on it, see how it's doing. Still looking good. All right, I got this going a little bit ago, but you can tell, what are we even at? That's just shy of 210, I think, roughly, probably 209-ish. But that's the boil that we got going on right now. Stove's up pretty high. It was at full bore. I just dropped it back to, you know, looks like just over 8 right there. Tops out at 10, if you will. So I think I'm happy with that boil. I might bump it up just a teeny little bit, see if it does anything more, but that looks pretty good to me. So I gotta finish boiling some outside so I can fill this pot and do both on the stove. But like I said, once it gets to that 219, I'll pour it into here, this test tube, and test it out with that hydrometer. And as long as it measures good, we'll run it through our filtering system and then bottle it up, and that's a done deal. Still 210. Not even 211, I don't think. So I just brought in a second pan just now. The other one was previously the same height, and you can see how much is boiled down. I just turned it down just a little bit to show you how low it is. But yeah, I got 2 of them going inside now. Geez, I don't know how long it's been since I first started. It was 4 something earlier. But yeah, here's where we're at right now. I'm gonna get both these evaporating, boiling down even more, and keep the stuff out in the barn going, keep adding to it, cycling through. Well, I was finally able to condense down into one again, so that pot's empty. And it's all obviously into this pot now. Looks like still holding around that 210 number. Well, I keep adding more to it. We're getting there. Looks like we're getting really close to 219. I'm gonna go ahead and test it and see what it measures on this brick scale and see if we're good for a finished product. I just thought I'd show you my hydrometer that I use before we go ahead and measure it. We're gonna measure using the brick scale, and this particular hydrometer will tell you at 211 degree Fahrenheit, you want it to meter at 59 bricks. And then when it cools down to 60 degree Fahrenheit, it'll measure at 67 bricks. So right there, it's from sugarbrushsupplies.com. I got it at my local store, but that's the hydrometer that I use. I trust it and I think it works real well, so I just thought I'd share that with you. So when we drop it in our test tube, it should meter right there at that red line at 59 bricks at 211 degree Fahrenheit. All right, time to drop that hydrometer in there and see what it meters. Just the most tiny bit heavy. That is in between 59 and 60. It might be right at 60. It's hard to tell with that foam right there at the top. I poured it kind of heavy, but you don't get much more perfect than that. I mean, that's pretty darn close. Right at 60 bricks, so I call that a win. I'll take that any day. Now we just got to run it through our filtration system and then can it, and that's a done deal. Job well done. All right, I cleaned off my hydrometer, so that's back in there. Take the test tube. Might as well. First one to run through the filter. Here it comes. And it went. I know it doesn't look like it, but that's 66 ounces there. It's roughly half a gallon, so. And then it's got this nice little pour spout on the tip of it there. And we'll just bottle it up in our mason jars that we got laying around. All right, so I pulled my pot out from underneath of the filter, replaced it with just a different jar. I'm gonna go ahead, pour this in. Like I said, it's roughly 66 ounces. Obviously it's not full, but we'll go ahead and start filling our jars. Part of the reason I bought this one is because it had that nice little pour spout on it. It seems to be working really well. We do a lot of canning, so we have a lot of canning jars. So that works really well for me as well. But that's it. I'll go ahead and put the lids on those. hot. That's a finished product. Hey, I just wanted to show you all what I got. As you can see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, and down here is a partial. It probably would have fit in that other jar if I wanted it to, but they were from different batches, so I didn't worry about it. But yeah, it turned out pretty good. They're full. That's it for now.